Sup shitters, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to SB Reviews, where today we're going to be checking out an EP from an act named Dejhare. Dejhare? Yeah, it's a bit of a tricky name. We'll switch over to here. Dejhare has released an EP called Plead The Fifth. It's just got some nice album art here. We've got 5 tracks titled Take 5, Skeletons, Perception, Not Alone, Plead The Fifth. I'm listening to this on YouTube Music, but it's available on like Spotify and Pandora and all the other sort of major music platforms. So if you do like this album at the end of the video, feel free to go show us some support on those various platforms, whichever is of your preference. There's a music video apparently for Take 5. I'm not super knowledgeable about how music videos are made or any of the direction, shot decisions and stuff, so I don't typically comment on the videos. I prefer to focus on the music. But yeah, we're going to listen to Plead the Fifth, the EP from start to finish, and hear what we think. Let's go. Okay. We got the video here. It's cool. I had a screen before. Here. Cool, this is what I wanted. Cool, let's continue. We can make it big though for this. Okay, so you got these sequence 16th note synthesizers with like a very simple kind of soft lead melody. Cool, I like it. No, her vocals are coming through smoothly. There's a nice melody to it. It harmonizes quite well with the rest of the instruments. And there's a nice legato sort of portamento feel to the whole delivery of the tone of it. I get what it means in regards to Take 5. I like the production, the kicks, the drum kit sounding very full of life, vibrant and punchy in the mix. Okay, cool. The music sounds very relaxed, like it's got a groove to it. Like you can stick at it, you can dance to it, but at the same time, it's you know, it does make me feel sort of like I can sort of chill out and take a break. It's encouraging of that, and that's actually a really like what I like about this Take 5. There's 5 tracks in this EP, right? So I think that's kind of clever, but also to get the audience in mind for that at the start of the EP is really important because they're more likely to sit down and enjoy it. See, there's kind of 3-chord progression going on here with some punch sort of arps going on. And you've got the melody and the vocals changing up a little bit. The chorus and verses are very clearly distinct. You're repeating these sort of melodic sequences and themes throughout so that they're nice and catchy and easy to digest and memorize. It's catchy. Bum 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 bum. It's yeah, the kicks as well. They have a nice kind of flow to them. It's a very professional sounding track so far. Okay, so this is definitely a bridge. Dejhare is a... Yeah, I'm blown away with what Dejhare has put forward so far. It's really lovely stuff. Good job having the lyrics in the screen as well so I can read them as I watch. That's actually kind of helpful as a music reviewer, especially because sometimes with other music, the vocals aren't mixed as well, and so they're a little bit buried in the mix. And so sometimes you'll occasionally miss words if you don't have the lyric video like this, which is a shame because sometimes the few words you miss can be the context of the entire track. Well done. Or is this the bridge here? And that verse B section was just a repeat going for both of them. Okay. Cool. I like it how you got the call and response between two vocal styles. They're not like stereo panned in the mix to heavily extensed or anything like that. It's you've got sort of her calling out at the start to everyone and then speaking to Mio more personally. And you just kind of go between everyone and then like the love she has. You know, she's very comfortable in that higher range. I enjoy that. It's nice to hear her head voice and her chest voice. I'm like, those pad backing vocals in there as well are nice to kind of make the singing sound a little bigger in the mix and add a sort of extra, a little bit of layering to the instrumentation. Yep, there's enough going on in this track. I mean, it's 4 minutes 14. That's quite long for a single nowadays, but I think that Dejhare, I'm really hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm sure I'll be told if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, which will be very helpful. But yeah, the music production's on point. My favorite part about this song, honestly, was how they combined those electronic synthetic elements with the vocals to create a track that was actually sort of memorable. You don't always get that. Sometimes people go too overboard with like the auto-tune and stuff like that, and it just becomes kind of, you know, inauthentic. But I do like the creativity shown by Dejhare with her vocal melodies there. I'm liking we explored some legato runs without overdoing it and making it seem like the song was more about her ability as a vocalist than the actual sort of message of the song itself. Cool. So I'm just going to bring that down. Sick. And then we got Skeletons, track number 2. All right. What's this one going to be about? Is it going to load? You can do it, YouTube Music. Yay. Thank you. Alright, so I'm starting to get a vibe for the kind of music that Dejhare produces. Very kind of 2010s, like late 2010s kind of music here in the clubs.
Back and forth, a twisted path. You're walking on a blurry line. Stop pointing fingers, avoiding the blame. Enough playing a victim. Or not two mistakes, nobody is perfect. Don't feed on someone's guilt. See the world beyond your eyes.
The thing that makes the chord progression interesting is that last chord. You finish on that 4th, which is really interesting there. I like that because there's a temptation to finish on that like 7th chord of the minor key, and I think it's really great that we're moving to the 4th. You know, the drums are nice and solid. There's a nice consistency with the groove and the rhythm. So we got 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Yeah, we got as an 8th note groove. Go back a little bit.
Enough playing a victim or not to mistakes. Nobody is perfect. Don't feed on someone's skill.
With skeletons, are we talking about how someone has them in the closet, that no one's perfect, stop picking on each other and just try and sort of like, you know, get over yourself, be a bit more respectful of the people around you because everyone's struggling.
See the world beyond your eyes.
See the world beyond your eyes. I think that's an important lyric there because that's saying, you know, there is more to the world than just what you see and perceive. You've got to kind of remember the world doesn't revolve around you.
Show the world something worthwhile. We all have skeletons.
Okay, that was cool. I like that little drop there. It was nice change of pace from the verse and what we're now in, which is the chorus. It was nice to go halftime on it and have those kind of jarring, kind of sort of spooky sort of elements sort of kind of illustrate the skeletons and the stuff we struggle with and how they exist and how we've got to be made aware of them so that we can be better to other people.
In our closets, but then I used them to manipulate.
Okay, she's going really high up there.
In our closets, but then I used them to penetrate.
There's a nice reverb to the way our vocals have been done in the mix, and it sort of lingers there, and it's very fresh, and I like it.
Lifeless, hopeless, loveless, all involves without the flesh. Lifeless, hopeless, loveless, a heart that needs to be reset.
You know that part there was kind of like it was kind of cool because often you'll get a synthesizer perform that role. But it was great that Dejhare took the risk there and had a go at herself, and it worked. It worked well. It worked well.
Round and round, we'll lose.
Like there's little instrumental breaks which are charming. They add a little bit of animosity to it. There's sort of a sense of darkness to this, despite a lot of the bright synths and pads.
Round, you're not in a sensible mind. Stop pointing fingers, avoiding the blame. Enough playing a victim or not to mistakes. Nobody is perfect. Don't feed on someone's skill. See the world beyond your eyes. Show the world something worthwhile.
I'm like beyond what was instantiated in the first verse. The 4 chords there are continue. The drums are consistent. There's little builds, you know, the bass and the vocal melody is repeated between the verses. And there's a rise for this bridge, and this drop is kind of.
We all have skeletons.
It's very similar to that first sort of drop, isn't it? Or that first build. Or rather, a break. That was a break, isn't it?
We all have skeletons in our closets, but then I use them to penetrate. Lifeless, hopeless, loveless, all involves without the flesh. Lifeless, hopeless, loveless, a heart that needs to be reset.
And repeating that big shifty kind of melody there at the end. Good job including something different at the end. I appreciate that. It's 3.5 minutes, and while I enjoy the verses, the breaks, and the chorus, it's good to have a shift there for the conclusion. Oh, that vocal harmony is gorgeous. There's a lovely texture to that, isn't there? You know, I've had those synth themes we've had since the start are continuing this outro without the drums. You know, it's nice to have that mid to upper range stuff going on. Oh, nice repeater and delay on that. All right, so we had take 5, which is talking about taking a break and just having a good time. Skeletons, where don't judge people, just try and get past your inner sort of like your inner sort of perceptions and try to understand the world's a bigger place than you can imagine. Cool. We got some interesting themes so far. We got perception. Gonna make that big. There we go. Just want to double check something real quick, okay? Cool. So that's that. That's full screen. Cool.
We live in this era where AI is the talk, but how come after all the old mindset?
Okay, we're going well. Yeah, you're rolling with these minor keys. I'm like familiar with these chord progressions, but it's nice that we're not. I'm glad we haven't gone with the 1-5-6-4. That would have sort of killed it for me. It wouldn't have matched this sort of genre of music. Like, it wouldn't have matched this. Having that 1-5-6-4 major sort of key chord progression wouldn't have matched this kind of music, anyways. Obviously. Okay, I haven't really spoken about the dynamics of this. There's a brick wall limiter, like kind of mixing everything together and keeping everything nice and loud throughout. But there is nice to have this there's these quieter parts where there's less going on, less instruments involved. Like to have those energy levels low and a sort of a more subtle, sort of more sensitive, vulnerable part of the track, and to have the dynamics pick up in the chorus is nice. Everybody does matter, okay. So this song is about not treating people like garbage, perceptions, you know, not treating people like garbage and trying to be respectful of those around you. Oh, he stole from them. Oh, and it's talking about how like social media's kind of corrupted people and sort of made it a more toxic place because people don't have to have personal accountability with it when you can't find out you're not face to face with them, right? Okay, we have these developments in the half of each of these verse where things get a little bit more energetic, and it's a really interesting combination with what's happening with it. It's like they know that the listener needs a little more sort of dopamine, so they're injecting it. It's a really interesting texture to be putting in this part. I mean, like, you could listen to this in nightclubs and sort of like dance halls and stuff like that. This is the kind of music that would suit well within that. And I admire the messages that we're trying to communicate here. I think they're really wholesome. I like in the video, that's clever how there's the arrow pointing to him as if we need to pay more attention to him. That was clever. Okay. We got this build going on here. That's cool. I like that. Now that was a fun harmony there. Was that like a fourth or something like that? I dig that. That's cool. Please, more of that, please. I guess Dejhare is comfortable in the C minor key. Good having this call and response break it now for the backup the importance of that message. I like it. Stop. There is a lot of synergy between the video and what the music is trying to say. I can respect that. It's very, very forward with you. Again, like, I think that if you'd gone too heavy on the minor elements or gotten too edgy with it, it would have been a little bit sort of jarring. I can understand why Dejhare is trying to match the sort of like dance, like contemporary electro pop elements that, you know, the first few tracks have had. We're trying to balance that out with the lyrical content and going through different, you know, between different topics. And it works really well for Take 5 because Take 5 is about taking a break and going dancing. Skeletons was an interesting one in Perceptions. But I think it's very brave that Dejhare is trying to tackle these harder elements within this type of music. I've got a lot of time for that. I think that's really, because I'm not sure where Dejhare is in her career. But it's good that she's doing this stuff and having a go at it. Okay. Is this the same key signature? Right? Oh no, it isn't gonna be B flat at the end. Is that like, I don't know. Is that a B flat minor 7 or something like that? B flat major 7. What kind of a synth is that? That's a cool sort of melody. I like that. It sort of contrasts a little bit with what's happening with Dejhare's vocal melody before that, but it's a nice shift in the tonality and the texture to it. There's a lot of catchy stuff going on in these tracks. There's a portamento bass in the bottom as well. That's just rolling along. I didn't really get a lot of those vocal parts in that part before. I didn't get a lot of the vocal parts clearly. I just don't think I heard everything that I needed to sort of judge the context of what this track is about. Like, I heard the bird in the sky part. Like, we're repeating Not Alone here for the hook line. No matter who you are. So what we're saying here is that you're not alone no matter who you are. To be fair to Dejhare, true to yourself. So to be fair to Dejhare, as long as you get the few main hook lines, you can figure out what a song is straight away, especially in these chorus parts. Don't know why I'm getting closer to the speakers because I'm listening through headphones. Nice little drum fill, nice fill on the snares. I know it's important for me to understand what these tracks are about. I'm trying my best. These nice little instrumentals are like when she uses the vocals like an instrument, it's quite nice. That kind of stuff is a welcome part to this sort of section shift. It's interesting that we're competing with that lead synth in this situation because there's two main sort of lead synths in the middle of the mix, and it can be quite tricky to discern both of them. Usually you split them apart, but that's okay. Like, I can hear her clearly, she's saying find a way, and then she kind of does a sort of like an ornamental thing on the end. Find a way in your heart. Again, like, there's no sort of really wild chromatics or anything occurring here. This is all within the key. It's the music's charming. It's well produced. I can't really fault the way that the chords and melodies are put together, and the rhythms are interesting, engaging throughout. You know, this track has been designed very, very, very well. Not Alone. And the vocals set on top really nicely. There were just bits I couldn't really hear everything that was going on. I'm just being honest. There are other tracks in this where I heard all the lyrics very, very clearly, and it was totally chill. And I'm assuming that was like a stylistic thing to kind of add sort of vocals more as a texture to the track or as like a backing as opposed to like a main. Because when she, again, obviously Dejhare is capable of singing fluently and clearly during choruses and stuff like that. So it's interesting stuff. We got Plead the Fifth, which is a music video. We'll put that as full. This will be the final one for today. Kind of trying to figure out why it is, right? That it's like, yeah. Because you're seeing this, right? Like, this is in the middle. The video has all this black area here. That's just a bug with YouTube, I guess. Because I'm pressing the full screen, there's no reason why it should be. And there's no reason why that video should not be in the same time. I'm not really in control of that. I'm hearing these vocals really clearly. This is nice, you know. Quarter note kicks. That transition straight into those kind of house-ish kind of those big dancey early 2010s kind of synthesis. That was pretty sick, I gotta admit. If you're gonna go for this vibe, like, kill it, you know, just really just go hard at it. I'm sorry, I'm not laughing because I think it's funny that people are struggling. I've just realized, like, just the way that these lyrics are paired with the vocals, it's really fascinating. It's gonna probably get me in trouble, but like, it's just I love the intensity of people wringing their hands and getting really nervous and stressed out over their situation, and the music is like it's so emphatic. Like, is the music suggesting that things will improve or that they'll get better and we just need to look past their own, like, problems and flaws and sort of look for a better future? That things aren't bad as they seem, that must be the reason why we had this music like this. Should we plead the fifth? The intensity is just going up and up and up and up and up. It's really full in the headphones. I dig the sound of it. Can I just have a moment to like just check something real quick? Oh, so Plead the Fifth is refusing to like question what's happening and looking into yourself. Oh. We're getting real heavy on the problems and issues of today, aren't we? Yeah, like, we're not superhuman. We're all gonna make mistakes and screw up. We just gotta do the best we can to deal with that, right? Like, I'm getting so pumped and so hyped for this music. It's so energetic. Like, this is probably my favorite song instrumentally. And I know that the lyrical content is so intense and dramatic, and it's people struggling to cope with their existences and having existential crises. It's just, I'm so hyped for the music, man. It's a weird situation. I'm feeling sort of, I don't know how to feel about this track. We should ask ourselves why stuff's occurring, man. We should ask ourselves why things are occurring. Like, how can we learn unless we ask ourselves these really important questions? You can't just sit there being ignorant your entire life. You've got to do some introspection. I've had like 2 or 3 or maybe 4 main vocal melodies throughout this, and they harmonize well with the chords and the pads and the bass and the drums. This is a nice little break at the end, isn't it? I dig this. This is good fun. That's good. This is an interesting track here. Yeah, no, I know I'm gonna get in a little bit of trouble for laughing like that. It wasn't because I thought that it was funny that people were struggling. It was just me sort of like processing my understanding of the connection between the music and the lyrics. That's all, you know? Like, at the end of the day, it's obvious to me that Dejhare, I'm not sure who was involved with the production of the music, whether Dejhare did it all herself or Where is her album? Hang on. I'm not sure who was in charge of the production for this. The production was unbelievable, unbelievably tight. There is no complaints I have about the way any of the tracks were crafted. There was constant new things occurring. There was engaging elements in it. There was a lovely coloration to it, and I can understand why the distance was made with the vocal melodies and stuff like that. Occasionally, I couldn't understand why the lyrics matched the music in the way they were sung. But I understand with this kind of music, you want it to be catchy, you want it to be enjoyable for people. You're discussing tough topics, and when you're discussing something that's sad, the music doesn't need to be sad. You know what I mean? It doesn't need to be very one-dimensional. You can have nuance to it. And Dejhare, I think, just wants to make people happy with her music. So there you go. Yeah, I haven't like while I was happy with the way that the tracks were recorded and produced and mixed and mastered, they were nice and loud. There was whoever was involved with the post production did incredibly well. Dejhare is a vocalist. The lyrics were interesting. Like I could understand the stories being told. If I removed the music videos and the imagery and stuff like that, I would have gotten the same sort of intonation. So that's great. And she did some fun stuff with the vocals. She did some up and down parts. She did some legato runs. And her vocal technique was pretty good for the most part. I could hear her singing clearly. There were just some bits where I couldn't get everything, and it was a shame. But I got enough to kind of understand what most of these tracks are about, and that's the most important thing. As long as I understand what the track is about by the end of it, and I've enjoyed the groove of it, and the chords, and the progressions, and the track, and these are all 4-minute tracks, that's kind of what matters, right? So thank you for watching my review of Dejhare's Plead the Fifth EP. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Please do stay cool and stay safe. Remember to support your local musicians artists at this point in time, as it'll help more than ever. Friendly reminder that, as I mentioned at the start of the review, you can go check out Dejhare's material on her social medias and Spotify, Pandora, SoundCloud, all those bits and bobs. She's on all major streaming platforms, and I'll catch you in the next review. Spider hands out.